Welcome students to Completing the Square. This is on page 4 of your notes. So completing a square turns a quadratic from standard form to vertex form. So remember from your very first notes that we did this unit, we're going to be turning this form into this form, which this form is a whole lot easier to do things with. So remember what all of these are called. You have y equals ax squared minus bx plus c. Plus bx plus c. So when I talk about a, b, and c, I'm talking about the coefficients there. So let's jump into an example. So step 1, start with this quadratic in standard form. Yay, standard form. And that means so a is 2, b is -4, and c is 6. So the first thing we want to do is take that c term, that loose number, and move it to the other side. Now you can't just move it though, you have to move it with an operation. So I'm going to subtract it. So -6 minus 6 cancels. So I get y minus 6 equals 2x squared minus 4x. Good. Step 2 is done. Step 3, factor the a term out of the right side. So a term is that 2. I'm going to factor this out. So y minus 6 equals, and then factor out is kind of like reverse multiplication. So if I factor a 2 out of 2x squared, what do I have left over? Well, think about dividing. I have x squared minus, and then what's -4 divided by 2? Well, it's -2, so -2x. Okay, step 3 done. Add a blank to each side of the equation. Okay, let me actually do that in a different color. So I have y minus 6 plus blank equals 2x squared minus 2x plus blank. Okay, good, easy enough. Take half the b term. Okay, so I want to take half of this guy right here. So half of that equals -1. So I'm going to be taking a -1, and then I'm going to be squaring it. So I'm going to take -1 squared, and then I'm going to put that on each blank. So I'm going to put -1 squared in a blank, and -1 squared. And then notice that I multiplied by a 2 on this side. I also have to multiply that by a 2. So go ahead and put a 2 there. So 2 times that. Okay, so now let me rewrite what I got because that's kind of messy. Y minus 6 plus, now go ahead and simplify this. -1 squared is 1 times 2 is just 2 equals 2x squared minus 2x plus -1 squared, like that. Okay, so now the right side is a perfect square and we need to write it in factored form. So this is going to be, if you guys remember reverse box method, I just need to figure out what I multiplied together to get this. So I have x squared, I have -1 squared, and this comes out to 2x, and so when I factor that, I get x minus 1 times x minus 1. So you're always going to take this, so 2, you're always going to take this right here and this right here. And square it. So this right here converts to this right here because that's how you factor it. And then the other side, I just want to simplify all the way. So y minus 6 plus 2. So this comes out to -4, so y minus 4. Okay, Then finally, I want to move the loose number back to the right side. So I want to take this and put it back there. So I'm going to add it to both sides, which gives me y equals 2x minus 1 squared plus 4. And then you're done. Then it's in vertex form. Now that is a ton of steps, so you may be feeling a little lost right now, and that's okay. Let's try the next one. So I want to write this in vertex form. So remember, the first thing to do is write down what's your A, your B, and your C. Okay, so remember, the first thing you're going to do is take this and move it to the other side. Oops, look what I did. Don't write that again. You canceled it out. Okay, then you need to factor the A term out. So that A term was a -1. So copy that. So what is negative x squared divided by -1? Well, it's just x squared. And then what is negative 8x divided by -1? Well, it's positive 8x. So let's factor that. Then you have to add your blanks. So y plus 14 plus blank equals -1 x squared plus 8x plus blank. Then you're going to take half of that. So half of that equals 4. And then square it and put that in the blanks. Let me actually scoot this over just a little bit. And then if you have a number multiplied out here, remember to multiply it right there as well. Okay, pause that if you need to catch up. And then I'm going to go back up here because I don't have any more room. All right, so now I'm going to write that in factored form. Let me just copy this side real quick. So the left side, I'm just copying down. Okay, now this side, remember, I'm going to take this number and this, and I'm going to write them just like that, just in factored form like that. So I'm going to take x, oops, don't forget that -1. So I'm going to take -1, and then x plus 4, and then that gets squared. So you factor this, you took this, and this is the factored form right here. So think about the last unit we did. And then from that point on, you just need to simplify the left. So 4 squared is 16 times -1 is -16. Oops. And then just copy that. Okay, then you are going to continue simplifying that. So 14 minus 16 is -2. And then finally add 2 to both sides so you get y by itself again. And then you're done.